Big news, Gonz.
Yahoo News mirroring The Hill. CERN scientists to restart Large Hadron Collider after 3-year hiatus.
Wow. So the same amount of time that Dr. He Kui was supposed to be in jail, they shut down CERN.
Mm-hmm.
Coincidence?
And
probably.
Yeah, probably. And, the same amount of time as the pandemic. They got the memo that, hey, you guys shut it down for a couple years. We got some stuff in the works.
You released an interdimensional virus that has shut down the world. So please turn off the portal to the virus dimension. We'll tell you when you can fire it back up.
Scientists are preparing to reboot the largest and most powerful particle accelerator in the world this week. Also, the most expensive machine ever built by man, by the way. Seeking to use it to solve the mystery of dark matter. Or at least that's what they tell us. The Large Hadron Collider shut down in 2018, so scientists at the European Council for Nuclear Research, CERN, could improve and upgrade the accelerator in Geneva, Switzerland. The work was extended and delayed by the coronavirus pandemic. It was slowed it down, you see. And we're not isolated enough in the 27-mile underground ring apart from everybody. Had to shut it down, too.
Where you're probably already sort of wearing masks in a sanitary place.
Yeah. CERN expects to restart the LHC sometime between Friday and Sunday. Here we go. This weekend, we're going to unleash all kinds of new reality timelines.
It's like today or tomorrow it's firing.
They didn't give us a lot of warning here, which might have been part of the plan.
I do think the phrase in between Friday and Sunday is pretty funny. Like they didn't want to just say Saturday.
The LHC, which first launched in 2008, performed successfully for 2 previous runs. Its third run will operate for the next roughly 3 years before another pause for maintenance. CERN tweeted on Wednesday that restarting the LHC was getting, quote, closer and closer, and shared a video showcasing the improvements to the tech, including new parts and redesigned systems. The 16-mile-long accelerator is housed inside a CERN facility tunnel, about 328 feet underground. The LHC deploys superconducting magnets to boost particles through. 2 high-energy particle beams travel at close to the speed of light before they collide at 4 separate points. The LHC works to solve the standard model of particle physics, a theory describing the basic building blocks of the universe, including particles called quarks, which make up protons and neutrons.
Why are they not talking about the sort of like interdimensional demons and
because
stuff like
this is for the public, you see. This is
I don't know. That has never stopped them before.
True. This topic is something that I was looking at for a while and more earnestly and documenting a lot of it in a series I did for the Facelikethesun channel called CERN Watch. And
Facelikethesun channel you can find on Odyssey.
Yeah, you can find on Odyssey. And yes, I did find one of the first CERN Watch videos that I published on Facelikethesun. According to Odyssey here, the video was published on March 5th, 2015. That was a great thing when I moved everything over to Odyssey. It preserved like the show notes or the description links and all that kind of stuff. So I can go back and find articles and stuff. But
that's great. Just
so people understand that, if you think that CERN, there's nothing, people overblow CERN, people talk about, it's just a bunch of conspiracy theorists saying nonsense about what they're doing. I mean, I think most people are aware that there's some, advanced science taking place at the very least, over there underground at CERN. But I want to recall an article from The Guardian published January 1st, 2013. And in that article, it said this, quote, what you'd expect, this is quoting a physicist, what you'd expect is that you reach the right energy. You suddenly see inside the extra dimensions, and gravity becomes big and strong instead of feeble and weak. the sudden extra pull of gravity would cause particles to scatter far more inside the machine, giving scientists a clear signal that extra dimensions were real. And then this is another quote from the same guy, Parker here, this physicist. Extra dimensions may separate us from realms of space we are completely oblivious to. Quote, there could be a whole universe full of galaxies and stars and civilizations and newspapers that we didn't know about, says Parker. Quote, that would be a big deal. Yeah, no kidding. But this is the kind of stuff the CERN physicists were saying, 10 years ago. And so, of course, people like us are looking at it going, okay, what do you mean by that? What exactly are you talking about? And we documented a lot of stuff concerning the connections to the Tower of Babel and how, there was some stuff in the extra biblical book of Jasher that described the size of Babel back, Genesis 10 days. And it's much bigger than just a tower. It's like a city kind of, And right. So, I related to, maybe there's something in connection to the size of the ring that it takes for some kind of particle accelerator and some ancient version of it. And, it's all speculation. It gets pretty crazy and wild and speculative, but there's some precedent there when you look at it. It's not all based on nonsensical ramblings of a crazy man on the internet. So, it's something to dig into and look at. Again, I think we should dust off some of the CERN Watch info to kind of brush up on what kind of stuff the mainstream was saying about CERN. And there was that really famous picture in more recent years. There was a scientist at CERN in his office. There's like papers everywhere and whatever. And he was holding up a piece of paper that says, "We are happy at CERN." And then around his neck, he's giving a thumbs up. And around his neck, he's got one sign that says Bond 1 and another sign that says Mandela, which obviously, people freaked out, said, oh, they're doing the Mandela effect. The whole Mandela effect is based on this thesis that CERN changed the timeline of our reality, which again is part of the cosmological narrative that the multiverse and Marvel and all that kind of stuff, they're all pumping out there. So, this is like the actual quote unquote science behind the sort of public
and they
propaganda.
Believe it too.
Oh, they totally believe it.
Yeah, it's not just it's just not nothing,
No.
The people like us keeping track and watching CERN are not the ones who are making up the fact that they are trying to reach other dimensions. They themselves talk about trying to reach, enter, communicate with. They talk about being like kind of afraid of entities like coming through and stuff, all in their own words. Yeah. Like you don't need to be a conspiracy theorist to get a little freaked out by it.
Yeah, and then at the same time, you have, I documented this as well. There was a show called Gravity Falls. I'm sure many of the people listening or watching might remember. There was and the connections to the occult and secret societies and stuff we talk about is just chock full in this show. Yeah. And there was an episode, I think it was towards the end of the entire season, where they find out that one of the main characters has this big portal underground, and they open, the books in the show have a hand on it with 6 fingers. Like direct connection to the Nephilim in the book, in the Bible. And they open up a portal. This sort of brother of the main character who's a Mason or, like a whatever type comes through the portal. He's got 6 fingers on his hands. And there's the triangle, all-seeing eye pyramid character. I mean, it's all there, It's just kind of like, okay, all right, what are you trying to tell us? Why are you guys opening up a portal to some other dimension, some other reality? Sure.
And the fun thing is, part of the reason why we even brought this story here is because the fun part is that the theories and some of the strange coincidences or things happening in the world kind of line up with whenever they fire CERN up. Whenever they start messing with this thing, that's when kind of weird stuff starts happening.
Well, I think 2015 to 2018 was the last time it was running. So that's like going into Trump.
Right, like Trump. Which is basically right when the whole world went completely insane.
Yeah. So there you go.
So keep an eye out. I don't know when, sometime between today and Sunday, but if things start getting weird on Saturday, you know why.
Well, it's interesting too, because I remember throughout this whole CERN watch process, a lot of times when they would start firing it up and stuff, you wouldn't notice much, like in the day or whatever. There's usually, really nothing going on, not a lot of stories or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then like a few weeks later, something would happen and you'd be like, wait a minute. Does it have anything to do? So it was always people looking at.
You kind of make the connections in hindsight.
Right. You can't really figure out what's going on in the moment. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting, and big deal in terms of a topic that we've been covering, because there seems to be some connection to some biblical level things with reaching heaven and that sort of thing. So.
And how could there not be?
Yeah. And especially right now when, we're the whole world knows what, or not knows exactly what it is, but at least has this sort of a general idea of what a metaverse is or will be.
Right.
It would be too easy to be like, hey, we can create a metaverse that reflects this other dimension. We're just taking the data from CERN and we're creating this virtual space that you guys can hang out in, and you're basically hanging out in another dimension, Yeah,
it's its own version of multidimensionalism, again, and CERN being the real analog to that sort of philosophical and social technocratic utopia.
Yes. So
we'll see how it
what
goes.
Dr. Michael Heiser is to us, the biblical scholar that allows our crazy speculations to have some kind of foundation biblically. In the context of all this crazy stuff. CERN itself is the scientific sort of legitimate, the thing that's making a lot of the cultural references, legitimizing that cultural phenomenon and narrative, cosmological narrative.